They say your first love is unforgettable. Some people believe it's the kind of love that never truly dies, that it lingers in the back of your mind, waiting for the right moment to rekindle. My family certainly thought so. When I was 16, I started dating my best friend. Let's call him Jake. He was charming, dependable, and most importantly, loved by my family. To them, he was the perfect match. To me, he was a safe, comfortable choice, but not my forever. We were together all through high school. People called us the golden couple, assuming we'd get married someday. When Jake proposed after graduation, I said no. I wasn't ready to settle down. I wanted to explore the world, figure out who I was beyond the girl who always stood next to Jake. My family, however, did not understand. "You don't have to get married now," my mother insisted. "Just stay engaged. Give it time." My older sister, Rachel, was even worse. She was convinced I was making the biggest mistake of my life. "You'll regret this," she warned. "He's perfect for you. Just wait. You'll see." For a while, my life became a battleground. My once close bond with my siblings started to fracture. My brother, Mark, withdrew, uncertain of which side to take. But my sister, she never forgave me. Rachel clung to this fantasy that Jake and I were destined to be together. She believed in it so much that she started dating Jake's brother. To her, our families were supposed to be one, and if I wouldn't cooperate, she would force it to happen. At first, I tried to ignore it. Jake was still part of my family's life. He was invited to gatherings, birthdays, vacations. My mother, my siblings, even distant relatives treated him like their own son. I didn't complain because, well, Jake was their friend too. I couldn't dictate who they spent time with, but Rachel took it to another level. She arranged for us to share rooms during family trips. She set me up on blind dates, where Jake was always the other guest. She constantly reminded me of how perfect we had been together. It was suffocating. I finally had enough and begged my parents to intervene. My dad was firm. "Enough of this. She's moved on." My mom reluctantly agreed. For a moment, things got better. Jake stopped appearing so often. Rachel, however, did not give up. And then life threw me a curveball. During a semester abroad, I met Daniel. He was nothing like Jake. He was spontaneous, adventurous, and had this quiet confidence about him. Unlike Jake, who fit into my life like a puzzle piece placed by someone else, Daniel felt like a path I chose for myself. We clicked immediately. 1 year later, we were in love. When I told my family, everyone was thrilled, except Rachel. "It's just the honeymoon phase," she said dismissively. "You'll grow out of it." When Daniel and I got engaged, Rachel refused to acknowledge it. She still clung to the idea that one day I'd wake up and realize Jake was my true love. I warned her, "If you try anything, I'll cut you out of my life." She didn't listen. At my wedding, she made one final attempt. Rachel pulled every dirty trick in the book. She assigned one of her friends as Daniel's date to test his loyalty. She separated me from Daniel the entire wedding day so I'd be forced to spend time with Jake. She plotted to have Jake confess his love to me at the reception. The moment I found out, I walked out. The next morning, I sat my parents and brother down and told them plainly, Rachel was dead to me. If you try to fix this, I will walk away from all of you. Mark looked ashamed. My dad nodded in understanding. My mother? She sobbed. She's your sister, she pleaded. She only wanted the best for you. But I was done listening. Years passed. I never spoke to Rachel again. Then, one day I had news. I was pregnant. My entire family was overjoyed, except for Rachel. She didn't care about my baby. She only saw it as another way to force me back into Jake's life. A few weeks later, my mom invited me over for tea. Something felt off, but I wanted to believe she had changed. I was wrong. When I arrived, Rachel was there. So was Jake. So was Jake's mother. They had staged an intervention. Jake spoke first. I was just trying to be romantic. I know you wouldn't appreciate it, but I needed to try. Rachel started crying. I just wanted us to be close again. I stared at my mother. You planned this, I whispered. She started reading a letter about how her daughters should be close. And Rachel only wanted the best. I stood up, grabbed my phone, and texted my dad, my brother, and Daniel. Mark arrived first. He was livid. How dare you do this to her? He yelled at our mother. He grabbed my things, held my hand, and walked me out. By the time Daniel and my dad arrived, I was already crying in the car. That night, I sent one final message to my mother. If you ever try to contact me again, I will get a restraining order. Then I blocked her number. Rachel continued to spread lies, telling people Daniel was keeping me away from my family. She even hired a private investigator to track me. Jake, meanwhile, started claiming my baby was his. I took legal action. I changed my number. I moved. Meanwhile, my father divorced my mother. He was disgusted by what she had done. Mark and his wife cut my mother off too. And me? I found peace. I built my own family, one that was filled with love, respect, and people who actually cared about my happiness. And as for Rachel, she lost everything. It took years for me to see the truth. Family isn't about blood. It's about the people who lift you up, not the ones who try to force you into a life you don't want. I have no regrets. I chose my own happiness. And I'd do it again. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.